He's got the right shoes. Beckett's got the right shoes? Yeah, he does. Play the Agassi shoes too? He's got no chill. Beckett will play you in Agassi shoes. He has no regard for human life.
Hey, it's Beckett from Heat on the Feet, and today we're talking about the Nike Vapor X knit. So we first saw the knits worn by Denis Shapovalov in early 2019. He got them a few months before the general public did. The colors he wore were the player edition for the Toronto Raptors, so it was a purple, red, and black colorway. This colorway here, Game Royal and Hyper Crimson, came out in the fall of 2019. So Denis wore them at the big tournament like the Laver Cup and when he was playing out of his mind to win his first tournament in Stockholm. Now I got these shoes for a Black Friday sale. I've put quite a few hours on them. A lot of them were for tournament play. So this was my top tournament play choice shoe for the past couple of months. So let's start out with the performance review. I think the Vapor lineup by Nike is one of the top performing lines in any brand for all of tennis. The biggest strength on the Vapor is stability. They don't always feel like they're super supportive around your arch or like there's a lot of material stopping your ankle from rolling, but the stability is insane. They've managed to really give you a lot of lightweight stability with really strategically placed elements to keep you from falling. So what are the main differences between the knit upper and then the standard Vapor upper? So the knit is a little bit heavier, more materials, but that does mean it gives you a tiny bit more support. I don't notice that much of a difference in support, but I'm pretty sure it is there. I do feel like the shoe hugs me a little bit more for longer. I found with the standard Vapor, sometimes I really had to cinch the laces super tight to get the fit that I needed, whereas this one's a little bit more narrow just out of the box, especially through the midfoot. I did unfortunately get more cramping to kind of break in the shoe as it was quite restrictive in the midfoot at the beginning, but after 10 hours it was totally gone. So I think this sort of plastic TPU cage that holds just the bottom line of your foot in, the lacing system is unreal. The outsole is actually quite wide. So let's talk about how the lacing system works. So dynamic fit, it acts kind of like fingers, and each one attaches to the lace and can be adjusted to be tighter or less tight depending on your foot shape. So that really means I can get a super dialed in fit regardless of how, if my feet are feeling a little bit more swollen, if I want them looser. As the shoe stretches, you can also really nicely cinch the shoe down. Durability on the outsole has been quite good for me as well. I think the Vapor 10s really improved that over the 9.5s and the 9s before them. Now, breathability is one of the weaknesses of this shoe. So whatever Nike's been doing with their neoprene sock liner kind of tongue scenario is quite comfortable at normal operating temperatures. It really forms to your foot well and feels soft and plush, but the breathability is awful. Longer practices, longer matches, hotter days, you're all gonna feel those really heat up, especially if you wear double socks that would feel really hot, or thicker socks like the Nike Elites. I really hope they find a better solution for this because I've seen this material on tons of shoes. The AirTech Challenge 20, the Vapor Cage 4, the Zoom Zeros. I just want to see a little bit of a better solution when it comes to breathability and comfort. So one of the biggest questions I had was going to be the durability of the uppers. So the knit material doesn't appear to be very durable, especially at first glance. Unfortunately, that holds true to the actual performance of the shoe. There is sort of a plastic triangular pattern in the high wear areas from the medial here for toe draggers all along the outside. It's a little bit translucent so you can see the knit, and it does look pretty cool. It's pretty soft and unfortunately gets eaten up by hard courts. Finally, we have cushioning. So the cushioning in the heel is more than enough for me. I think Nike Zoom really performs at a high level, especially considering how actually thin this looks. It takes quite a while for the heel cushioning, and that's where the Zoom is to break down. The cushioning in the toe, I think, is just regular Phylon foam, and it's extremely thin. That does break down after a couple months of play, which kind of brings us to the next interesting bit of this shoe. So there is a slight slant in towards the medial side of the shoe. What that unfortunately leads to is if you wear out the big toe area, you're gonna get an even more exaggerated slant. So there's already less cushioning on the inside to begin with. So when you also take away the outsole, and given that that's the area that I put the most wear on my shoes, so the cushioning is very compressed there anyway, after 3 or 4 months, even though the outsole doesn't have like a hole straight through it, it feels like I'm just walking on the ground at that point. Style-wise, I think this is one of the freshest colorways that has come out in any tennis shoe for a long time. I think they look great. I think the color blocking that the knit offers is super awesome as well. Tri-tone colors, they've done a great job kind of fading them in. The way that the colors kind of speckle and fade together gives it almost like a digital cyberpunk kind of vibe, which I really dig. Most of the colorways that have come out in this shoe I think have been really awesome. So a little bit of history on the Vapor X line. So the Vapor X is almost like the rebirth, you could call it. It's like the 3rd generation rebirth after the Tinker Hatfield redesign. So he designed the Vapor 9 to really save the Nike Vapor line for Nike. Once again, Hatfield saving the day for Jordans, now he's saving the day for tennis. Him and Federer worked really closely together. They wanted to design a shoe that felt as comfortable for a running shoe but still performed on court. Around that time, shoes were really stiff, really uncomfortable. So finding a way to make a softer feeling upper that retained stability characteristics that you need on court was a huge challenge. So Tinker's answer to this problem was by kind of reimagining what Flywire was doing, where there was little bits of kind of string or rope attached to each lace. Now, rather than having that as a separate piece, not very durable for tennis, it became its own like strap in on the outside and through the inside of the shoe. Now, I really think the Vapor X Knit is the 2nd best performing shoe on the market, second only to the standard Vapor, which unfortunately makes this shoe pretty pointless. So what is the point of buying this? I don't think there's one, unless you think it looks super cool, which I think this one does, but I don't know if I would buy the knits again, given that I feel like I can get almost the exact same, if not slightly better performance due to the extra breathability of the mesh upper on the normal Vapors. I could see the next iteration of the Vapor being knit only, that being that there's no standard Vapor, it's just the Vapor is the knit. So we've seen the knit the last 2 generations. Federer wore them, now Shapo's wearing them. Maybe the shoe will stay differentiated, normal, and a knit if Shapo starts winning a lot more, and then they would want to give him his own kind of signature shoe. So Shapo actually got his own Vapor X Knit DS version. It really flew under the radar. It was an all white, came out around Wimbledon just after the initial release of the Vapor X Knit. It had claw marks on it. It was the Arctic Wolf colorway. Dennis maybe just isn't quite the right player to do that for. So we see that all the time in basketball where players have their signature shoe. Is it time for tennis to start doing that? We'll see. Given that no one really bought the Arctic Wolf Vapor X, I doubt it. I saw that shoe go on sale only a few months after its release, so I don't think tennis is quite there with the shoe game. Speaking of on sale, if you need a pair of new tennis shoes, use code SLICE10 to get 10% off any regular price shoes at courtsidesports.com. That's a wrap on this one. It was heat on the feet, Vapor X Knit. Probably don't buy. You could just get the normal Vapor X and be pretty happy.
Well, thanks for watching that video. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and then your tennis dreams will come true. And watch this video to become the best tennis fan you can be. And thanks for being here. You make all the difference.